Hey everybody, it's hard to believe that we're already in week 4 of the course. At this point, we have looked at the technical aspects of assessments, gotten a stronger understanding of how they're used in the special education process. We've practiced evaluating assessments, and we've administered assessments. We've even done some practice with interpreting data from assessments. This week, we'll continue with that and also move into IEP creation. The week 4 activities have been put in a specific order to give you the most time to prepare part 1 of your assessing a child assignment for submission at the end of the week. You'll notice that the IRIS module on error analysis is front-loaded, so you'll have access to those resources early. Then you'll move into resources for IEP development. You'll see that we're using guidelines and materials established by the Virginia Department of Education. We understand that you all will be headed into different districts, and at present, the districts utilize different formats for their IEPs, but the sections and the required information is the same. The state is actually moving towards a universal statewide online IEP system, which will be great for when students transfer between schools or when teachers move between schools. I believe that Richmond has already started this, and I think Henrico is slated to start in the next cohort. When you're preparing to administer your informal assessments, if you haven't done so already, I would suggest that you choose to administer one of the student's areas of weakness. If you have time, you can administer more than one. It's up to you. But I will say that the more data you have, the easier it'll be to write your IEP. When you review the sample IEP, which you'll have an opportunity to do this week, you'll see that it actually contains data across several areas to present a holistic portrait of the student. I myself actually prefer to include information across all subject areas, even if the student is performing on grade level, so that it can be documented as a strength and the IEP team can have this information available in case anything changes in the future. To be clear though, for the purposes of this assignment in this course, you'll only need to administer and report on one formal and one informal assessments for both parts, part 1 and part 2 of the assessing a child assignment. Something else that I want to reiterate is the role of behavior assessments. We talked about this a little bit in our interviews, and we're not going to go too far in depth because you're currently participating in the behavior management course, but you should know that data from behavioral assessments is also typically included in the IEP if it's appropriate. You'll notice on the present level outline document that some type of statement regarding the impact of the student's behavior on their academics is required. For some students, this is a lengthy discussion. For some students, it's just a statement. Since you conducted your behavior assessments on the same student that you assessed for this class, you can prepare to include this information in your IEP. All right, a final teaching moment from me before you head into the weekly materials. I would like to take a moment to make a distinction between achievement tests, like the type of formal assessments that you're doing, and what's considered cognitive tests, the type of assessments typically administered by school psychologists. This information will be really useful to you as you're part of eligibility meetings and eligibility decisions. A cognitive test, frequently referred to as an IQ test, measures a person's ability to reason and learn. An achievement test, like the ones you're doing, measures how much a person has learned or retained. Think of cognitive as your potential and the achievement as the degree to which you've met your potential. I had a great professor when I was in school. His name was actually Norm, if you can believe that. It makes sense that he taught a class on assessments, who explained this relationship between cognitive and achievement using the idea of a cup. The cognitive test determines the size of your mental cup or your capacity to learn. You could have a mental capacity of a 24-ounce cup, like this one, go Rams, or a 16-ounce cup like this one. Go Pack. The achievement test measures how much learning or water you've accomplished. So if you're a 24-ounce cup and you've learned or held 24 ounces of knowledge, then you're learning to your potential. If you're a 24-ounce cup, but you've only learned or held 12 ounces, then for some reason you're not learning to your full potential. This is what you may have heard of as the discrepancy model for determining eligibility for special education services. If there's a discrepancy between what you're capable of learning, your cognitive score, and what you have learned, your achievement score, there may be a hole in your cup somewhere, an indicator that there may be the presence of a disability. This is just one way to think about eligibility. There are other models, such as response to intervention, and school districts will utilize those two models generally in conjunction to make an eligibility determination. All right, I look forward to reading your evaluation reports as they come in later this week, and I also look forward to reading your reflections that will be in the discussion board. I recognize that some of you may have more experience with IEPs than others, so please don't hesitate to reach out if you'd like to meet about it. We can do this virtually using Zoom or in person. Thanks so much and have a great week.